It's Wild 94.1, the Bay's party station. You are locked in with the Freak Show, and we've been looking forward to this all week.
For a couple of weeks now, not gonna lie. I'm a big fan myself. The guys were like, you have to calm down.
My man just walked in the studio, and I feel like we're already friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Bryan Callen is in the building.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
We have been binge watching YouTube, Netflix. Bro, I didn't even know you were in the Joker movie. I've learned so much about you in the last couple of days, bro.
Yeah, well, the Joker movie where I spent 5 days on set with Joaquin Phoenix in character who wouldn't talk to anybody. And the whole time, like, I knew I wasn't going to make it in the movie for the most part.
Oh, why?
Because I've been doing this too long. I called the director over, who's a friend of mine. I go, I'm not going to make it in this movie. He goes, I'm in this like this old carpet factory in like the north of Manhattan, just sitting there with this guy who's obviously going to win an Oscar. I'm not an actor like that. I can't. Somebody who can hold character, who can lose 60 pounds.
That's insane.
And eat an apple and smoke cigarettes all day. And that's it. That kind of discipline for 3 months. I was like, hey, bro, I can't do it.
And you never saw him break character?
No. No, dude.
Yeah.
What a G.
That's his thing.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think I've ever told the story. There was a scene where I went, what are you going to do, pull out a gun and blow your head off? And I went like that. And when I went like that in the second take, he went like that, like he got shot and fell straight back.
Stop it.
And the director comes over and goes, don't do that again. Don't do it again.
He's going to hurt himself.
Don't ever do that again. And because he didn't know what Joaquin was going to do. He was so in character.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
I never told that story, actually.
Wow.
Oh, bro, that's really cool, man.
He fell back, like, straight back. I went, in the scene, I went, oh, gee. Like
and you're concussed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the?
Onto what? Onto, like, a mat?
No,
or?
dude, on
Just
the
a
floor.
Like this one here.
On the floor, bro.
You got to be nuts to kind of do that. You could really injure yourself.
You think? I was like, that's where I was like, oh, that's why I don't have an Oscar.
Yes.
That's why that's why I'm a stand-up comic, and you're that guy.
Well,
as a comic, man, you're always on the road. You're always traveling. Where's home for you?
L.A.
L.A. Okay, so I had a hotel room last night. I was 2 hours away, nothing crazy. And this morning I went to take a shower in my hotel room.
That already sounds like there's something going on. I had 2 hours away at a hotel room.
Who would you kill?
Yeah, as long as it's not a motel room.
Right.
I mean, it was kind of motel-ish.
Yeah. There's some anonymous sex and a lot of meth going on.
But this morning when I went to take a shower, man, I realized I forgot my drawers.
Yeah.
I ain't had no drawers. So then you're faced with one of two decisions.
Yeah.
You either recycle or you just go free in the wind.
You go commando.
Is that what you would do?
You got to go commando sometimes.
That's what I thought,
Yeah,
too,
because
bro.
You know what? America's a free country last time I checked. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes downstairs when it comes to downstairs, you got to go when downtown, you got to keep downtown free sometimes.
I heard that. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
Now I feel better about my decision.
Yeah.
Yes.
People say, what's going on? You go, I'm an American. That's all you got to say.
That wind kind of hits you at a certain angle, right? And then you get a little excited.
It sounds more comfortable than it really is.
Well, I bought a pair of very white Adidas sweatpants. I was very happy with them. I was like, dude, why not rock white with black stripes, bro?
Ooh.
It's a little bit superheroes.
Yes.
Problem is, even with underwear, you can see everything that's going on.
Yeah, that's why ladies usually like the gray sweatpants.
Yeah.
Did they start to
I
holler?
think white's a little much.
It's a
At
lot.
a certain age, it's like,
It's a
bro,
lot.
we don't need to see everything that's going on.
Some guys can pull it off, though.
Did the ladies notice?
Yeah, I don't. But you get tired of being congratulated over.
I like what you're working with.
We have Bryan Callen in the building. He is here at the Improv tonight. 2 shows, 7:45 and 10:15. Then tomorrow, 7 and 9:45. Bryan, one of my favorite things about you, bro, is you're a conspiracy theorist just like me.
Yeah,
Oh.
well,
I love it.
Yes. Now, my show, Conspiracy Social Club, which is on Rockfin, we couldn't do it on YouTube because we
Why?
got kicked. Because we'll get kicked off.
Oh, man.
Like, you can't talk conspiracies on Vimeo. We were on Patreon.
Oh, wow.
Vimeo was like, no. YouTube's like, no. So what you have to do is you have to go on an app like Rockfin, where if you start talking, because I see the way the show works is Sam Tripoli, who's a great comic, he's a serious conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
And I debunk the conspiracy. So it's like WWE.
Oh.
It's a war.
You guys are just debating the whole time.
Oh, dude.
Oh, sign Davy up. This is his whole life.
I like my conspiracy shows on like kind of janky little websites.
Yep. Well, sometimes though, even with me, you get kind of, you can get swayed a little bit, right? You're
Yes,
like,
of course.
Because there are conspiracies out there.
So is there one that he recently kind of convinced you of that you could think of, or are you always the debunker?
Oh God, are we allowed to even talk about this?
No,
Or-
and that's why we're talking about it.
well, it just there's the thing about conspiracies is there's always a little bit. If you're a good conspiracy theorist, there's always a little truth that's out there, right?
Okay.
But the problem is that people will make these videos where they'll be like, you know what? COVID came from a snake.
Hey.
I don't know, dude. You're a retired chiropractor. Like, how do you know about this?
Like, how did you get this info?
Yeah, you got to look at the source of where it comes from. But they're fun to believe in.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
the best.
Aren't they?
Some
Yes.
of them are just ridiculous.
I've
though.
come in here many a times and freaked them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About whatever.
Well, people give too much credit to the deep state. You hear a lot of this,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So the CIA and the deep state, right? The truth is, from what I have been around, and I even have family that's in the deep state.
All
What?
right, all
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, ask me what my dad did. Go ahead.
what did your dad do?
You just keep waking up free every morning, and he'll keep doing what he's doing.
Oh.
No, but I mean,
I see what you did there.
Yes.
that's what I did. I don't
Wow.
know. But I think most people would probably be very surprised at how the deep state works, which is probably the fact that it's a bloated bureaucracy,
Oh.
right? And that they make just as many mistakes as they don't.
Of course.
And that there are a lot of different opinions in the State Department, in the Department of Defense, a lot of different opinions, and people are always undermining each other. So I don't think government works I don't think there's that group of people up there that are controlling everything.
The theys.
Dude, it's not, because everybody has their own opinions and their own interests. You think billionaires cooperate? You think there was a venture capitalist to try to get 5 billionaires into the same room to sit around. She wanted to get them, they're very powerful people. And none of them would sit down with each other. You know why? Because they all had fights. I'm in a lawsuit with him. You're having sex with my
Wow.
ex-wife. It was a whole thing. So, when you don't become a billionaire by being a get-along kind of person.
I can
usually.
imagine so. I mean, look at what Elon Musk is doing right now,
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to
he's-
just
he-
buy
he's-
Twitter.
He's
Correct.
trying to buy everything.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
I know it would be awesome. I would love that.
Bryan Callen is live in the studio with us. Check him out this weekend at the Improv Tampa, improvtampa.com, 813-864-4000. Bryan, so I know this is our first time meeting. This is my co-host, Meredith, and we
Yes.
just had to let her know. She had no idea that the name Meredith is an old lady name.
If you don't stop picking on my name.
But she doesn't. She looks so far from an old lady.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, I'm
Thank you.
looking at her going, how the hell does she look this like vibrant and awake?
It took a little bit though.
What time do you wake up?
At 4:15.
And you look
4:30.
like that?
Yeah, no.
No.
It takes a little
Usually
bit.
not. Usually.
I come in here without makeup and
yeah.
like sweatpants.
It's 'cause you're
all that.
special, Bryan.
Yeah, you're a
I
special
don't see.
person.
I don't see any makeup. She just looks.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. See, it doesn't matter if I have an old lady name, okay,
No,
Davy?
Meredith got it like that.
It's the Freak Show, Wild 94.1, the Bay's party station. We have Bryan Callen in the building. He was just telling us about this one time that he went to go watch. Was it a UFC fight?
Yeah. Well, we watched boxing.
Oh, boxing fight.
Yeah.
So whose house was it at?
Well, I would do stand up, and the Stallone girls.
Yeah.
Sylvester
Gorgeous.
Stallone's
Yeah.
daughters, great gals,
Yes.
gorgeous, but also super cool. Like if you didn't know them, you wouldn't believe that they grew up with that kind of money in Hollywood.
Okay.
Their mother and their father. I think Stallone's wife grew up on a farm. So she raised those kids with that kind of discipline, and it's a tight family. So those girls their feet are on the ground. That's such his biggest accomplishment is that.
Wow.
Literally, his biggest accomplishment is creating daughters that are real human beings and not cyborgs,
Right,
not
right.
attention-crazed human beings. So they became like fans a little bit. They would come to the shows and stuff. And then I got to talking to them. We were in a group, and they invited me. They said, my dad loves stand-up, and he'd probably love you. And, of course, I was like, okay.
You're
So
like,
I
yes,
go
please.
I go to Sylvester Stallone's house.
Oh my God.
And to watch the fights. Now, that happened about 3 or 4 times. But you'd go there, and Guy Fieri would be cooking in the kitchen.
What?
David Blaine, who's been a buddy of mine, but he'd be doing magic. Then I'd be like, oh, hi, Sugar Ray Leonard. How are you? Are you here to watch the fights too? And then you'd be like, oh, look, and then behind me as I'm sitting with Al Pacino. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Oh my God.
Only my hero.
Right.
Al Pacino. I'm standing in a circle with Al Pacino and Sylvester Stallone, and then I hear all this riffraff. What's all this riffraff doing?
Stop it.
And it's a guy named Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So now I'm in a group.
It's the best event ever.
I'm standing in a group while Pacino, Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger are talking. They're talking, and I'm going, and I'm contributing. But I'm trying to be cool, but just behind my face, I'm going, hee.
Yes, of course.
You know what I mean? I was trying not to make a sound the whole
Right.
time. I wanted to go, hee. I was afraid I was going to freak out.
Right.
And as I'm standing there, Bill Burr walks by
I
behind me.
love Bill.
He's got a cigar in his mouth. He walks by me and he goes, "You've been here an hour already. Get over it."
Oh, we can see it in your face.
Yeah.
And then as I'm leaving, I think it was probably the second or third time I'm at his house. Sugar Ray Leonard is there. We were practicing chip shots in Stallone's backyard. No, not a big deal.
Okay.
With golf, and I go. I started asking him questions about. I love to box, and I'm asking him questions about boxing, specifically how do you go to the body when you transition across somebody's body without getting hit in the face? Because every time I go and I try to dig to the body, and as I cross that plane, I'd get hit in the face. It's a boxing question. Doesn't matter. And he goes, well, what you want to do, and he starts teaching me how to pin. You pin the hand at the top, you catch, and then you dip, and he's giving me a boxing lesson.
One of the greatest fighters to
Ever.
ever live.
So Stallone says to my gal, he goes, "What are you doing? Get this on video now." So I'm in Sylvester Stallone's foyer. In his I put this on my Instagram.
Oh, you have moved to the foyer
I
now.
I put this on my Instagram where now I'm being given a lesson. This
my God.
idiot. The fact that he's taking any time to teach this moron a stand-up comic boxing, like it's insulting to him. First of all, I apologize to everybody who's a real boxer and the Sugar Ray Leonard, but he's teaching me how to go to the body, and while Stallone is watching. So he's giving me and Stallone a lesson in his foyer. Come on, dude. And I put it on my Instagram. That was shameless, but
I need to post it so everybody can see who I'm hanging out with.
yeah, I mean I don't usually get starstruck, but that was
That's it. That
life-changing.
sounds like a fun party to go to. Now, we started talking about all the celebrities in the event because I asked you off air about, not that anybody wants to hear about the whole Chris Rock and Will Smith slap again, but how do you deal with hecklers? You've been doing this for a while, and I'm sure it happens occasionally.
Yeah.
Some dude, it's usually a guy. Sometimes it's a drunk girl, but how do you handle that?
Usually they're just a fan and they're just excited and they want to be part of the show, and they've always been told they were funny by their buddies.
Oh, damn.
And so now they're gonna add to your joke.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what your mom said. And you're like, oh, good one. And sometimes it just gets a little. You just gotta acknowledge them. You have a choice. You can acknowledge them and give them a little power and make them feel like they contributed to the show.
Okay.
Or you roast them. And
That I like.
Yeah, and you just roast them. The problem is I've been doing this so long. If you really want to step into that arena,
Right.
we can.
Have a murder
Big
you.
mistake.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we can.
Yeah.
It's what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's what to do,
Right.
man.
Do you move a little different knowing that you could pretty much kick anybody's ass?
I-
Because you train, you dabble in the martial arts.
Yeah, but here's the problem. I move a little different because I know I can't kick anybody. Because I know when you actually train, and you get in a ring with a guy who looks like he's an accountant or he's built like the UPS guy, and he can change your life because he's a real boxer or he's a real fighter, which I'm not. You go, oh, dude, I'm walking around the street and I will never judge a book by its cover. Never. Like if I see some skinny dude, I'm just as afraid of that guy as I am the guy who's. I'm less
Smart
afraid.
man.
Right.
I'm actually less afraid of the guy who was a bodybuilder. I'm not afraid of those guys.
Okay.
I'm afraid of the dude who looks athletic, who's long and lean with cauliflower ears.
Oh my God.
Stay
Yeah,
away from that
of course.
Any by
Any
all
ears
means,
like that at all.
any ears like that,
Dude.
yeah.
Dude. Stay away.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a long day.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have Bryan Callen in the building. He is here this weekend tonight, 7:45 and 10:15 tomorrow, 7 and 9:45 at the Improv Tampa. Bro, we're big fans of you, man. We've been
Yes.
watching you on Netflix, watching
Podcasts
you on
for a long time,
YouTube.
especially during the pandemic. I was so excited that you continued to do that because everybody was kind of suffering and either some depression or locked in their
yeah.
house. It was so awesome that you guys just kept up
Kept
as much
going.
as you could with the podcast.
You keep doing it.
Yeah, it's like people had such a bond and a friendship with you.
Well, that's the thing about, especially the fighter and the kid.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yes.
And so you develop such a deep, loyal following.
Yes, you do.
It's
Yeah.
really crazy, man.
And you hang out with so many different celebrities and comedians at the same time. I personally wanted to ask you this before you even leave this building. Right now, who do you think, in your opinion, because you've met everybody, you've hung out with everybody, who is the funniest person to you personally right now that you think is either up and coming or whatever that you work with, like comedian-wise?
I mean, Theo Vaughn is so hard to argue with because he's so unique.
Yes.
Right?
He was just here about a month ago.
Yeah, but, it's tough, man, because a lot of the young comics that I see, there's a thing, sometimes bad ideas gain traction. And I think wokeism has its place, but I think there are a lot of bad ideas in wokeism because I think it is identity politics, and I think it is divisive, and I don't think it's real. I think it's like, wokeism is the wrong word. Maybe the idea that you belong to a group as opposed to you are an individual. The great thing about comedy was the great equalizer. Comedy doesn't care.
Yeah.
The Comedy Store didn't care about your gender, didn't care about your sexuality, sure as heck didn't care about your color or your ethnic origin. What it cared about was comedy.
Right.
Can you make people laugh?
Right, that's
Full
it.
stop.
Dude,
right
you
there.
can't
That's
fake-
all that matters.
You can't fake comedy.
No.
You can't. You can fake everything else, man.
Right.
You can have great agents and a whole publicity machine that gets you into movies. You can't fake stand-up.
Do you feel like you have to tiptoe around certain
I
things
don't
these days?
at all. Well, no way. I will never tiptoe.
Love it, bro.
When
Love it.
I speak the truth. You better speak the truth, not your truth, but the truth. And because as an artist, without getting too lofty here, but as a stand-up comic, we might be the last bastions of free speech, and they're coming for us.
Totally agree
They
with
are.
you. And we back up everything that you guys do all the time on this show,
appreciate that.
100%.
Because it's changing, man. There's this whole
It's so
there's
important.
this weird sort of idea that these bad ideas among young comics, especially the educated ones, the ones that come out of these liberal elite universities, and they come out of there with they're a little bit indoctrinated. And the problem is it comes into comedy and it's just not funny, man. Comedy has got to be dangerous. It's got to be irreverent.
You got to
Yeah.
tiptoe a little bit.
You got to disturb.
go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being an artist is disturbing, and I think so. You got to just. I don't think there should be any rules. And now you can get
Canceled.
censored and
Yeah,
canceled.
for sure.
Yeah,
Easily.
we've seen it happen. I don't think
Yeah.
enough people respect like the art form enough. How long would you say ballpark it would take for you or for one of your comedy friends to like come up with like an hour that you're gonna do
Yeah.
on stage? How does that take?
I think it takes 10 years to become a real
Wow.
comic. But
Wow.
then an hour, like I write fairly quickly, but the hour, like I wrote a whole hour during COVID and I kind of threw it away. And people were like, dude, it's
Wow.
doing so well. But the problem was it was a little too, it was tricks. It was a little bit like,
What you mean?
man, you get to a point where you can make people laugh. I can do that. That's a magic trick. No problem. I'll make you laugh for an hour and a half straight without any breaks. I promise. Right now, I'll do that. Like that's a trick. But what are you saying? What are you saying? You get to a certain age where you better be saying something. I have no problem with just being funny. I've done that for a long time. But you feel like you get to a point where you want to teach a little bit.
You wanna be more creative?
You want to sneak in some lessons, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to kind of like change people's perspective.
I gotcha.
Like right now, I'm working on the idea that if you're a liberal or conservative, it may not be your choice. That might be how you're born. There may be the fact that there are a series of personality traits that align with whether or not you lean left or you lean right. And I think a society needs that. I think a society needs people that are intuitive, that are run by their heart, and a society needs people that are run by their practical brain, their mathematical brain. There are people that need to be open to change and other people that do not like change, that are like, don't start messing with change. Don't start tearing down our institutions. You don't know what to replace those institutions with. Some people love adventure. Other people call adventure chaos. They're like, you call that adventure. That's how you end up broke and pregnant.
Yeah.
But there are
Perspective.
but there are also different roles that those two personalities fulfill in a society. The person responsible for making sure that the planes that land are in the different area than the planes that take off. I want a conservative.
Right.
I want somebody who's very mathematical. I don't want any flexibility.
Done
I
it
don't
a
want-
million times.
Yeah, bro. I don't want you
Same
working
way.
from your heart. I want you working only from your mind. But if you're in fashion or you do movies and your job is to make me laugh and cry or go wow, I want nothing but emotion.
Yeah.
Lastly, Bryan, what can someone expect if they come pull up on you on the Improv this weekend? Is class going to be in session?
Listen, the class might be in session, but I promise you won't notice.
Okay.
Because I promise you'll laugh. And I always say this, Florida, my favorite place. There's something about the air makes me feel good.
Yeah, right.
And there are people like Meredith. Not that I noticed. I'm just saying this place is special. And I don't know, man. The crowds are something else, man. The crowds are my favorite.
I'm excited to see you tonight. I'm 100% going with a couple of friends.
Are you going to the 7:45 show tonight or the 10:15?
10:15.
10:15. So
we'll drink afterwards.
Yes.
We'll shake it up.
you can catch the late or the early show, 7:45 or 10:15 tonight. If you can't make it tonight, 7 or 9:45 tomorrow. Bryan Callen at the Improv, a true master of his craft. Thank you for coming early, for hanging out with us, bro. It's been awesome, man.
It.
Genuine fans of yours.
Yes.
And we're going to see you tonight, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it.